So as already mentioned, my name is Patrick Hoffmann, born and grew up in Munich, Germany since 15 years, part-time Berliner, where we also founded our first cannabis venture back in 2014, which was Pedanios. Pedanios became in 2017 a member of the Aurora Cannabis family. And Florian, my co-founder, and me have been responsible for another 2 years as managing directors for the European development of Aurora. But in 2019, did decide to step back from our positions to exactly build up what we are presenting today to you as a hopefully pleasant audience. But first of all, before I come to the cannabis-related issue, I want to mention that there is things happening around the globe, especially during the last days here in Europe, which are as important as the development of our industry. And this is why I want to express my clear, or the whole team of Cantourage distances clear from the decisions happening in the Hungarian parliament within the last couple of days and the confirmation of that kind of behavior from UEFA. And we are going to support the LGBTQ movement. They should take a better name for that. It's complicated to name a movement like that. But we're going to support the Hungarian LGBTQ movement over the next couple of months. So what I'll present to you over the next couple of minutes is a system that our company has established to decomplex the access scheme for licensed cannabis cultivators for their market entry into the growing European Union as a cannabis sales market. So what are the status quo? And I think we've all read different numbers, different projections, I'm not sure which figure to believe in and which not. This is a figure that we are selecting where we say that it has the potential of these growth rates. What we definitely can say is that the cannabis industry was never younger than today and will only increase over the next couple of years. And with the right steps, the right offers, and the right participants in the market, and also the right anticipation of, and that is linked to the topic I've mentioned, our industry can only survive and grow if we surround ourselves in a liberal environment, which is attracting a lot of people sharing the whole ambition and to switch or add cannabinoids as a treatment for the treatment of their diseases. So in general, the market is projected to grow. We see a growth rate of more than $3 billion until the mid of this decade. And the challenge is that if you want to deliver a drug in the sense of the European pharmacopoeia for human consumption, you need to have certain certifications, which only a few companies obtain at the moment. And so we have an oligopolian situations where only a few people and only a few companies are able to provide medicines in the European Union. And our system is set up to change this setup dramatically within the next couple of months. So how do we want to challenge the actual status quo? What do we do? We as Cantourage decided to be active in all three fields with existing monographs, which is dronabinol, which is dried flower, and which is extract. We firmly believe that if you want to be recognized like a manufacturer which offers cannabinoids treatments, they shouldn't be limited to a certain way of products. They should always be active in the markets where there is existing monographs, and with these existing monographs generate revenue and be able to develop new products out of the revenue streams generated by using the existing monographs. But when I'm mentioning monographs, I also have to mention that being compliant with all drug regulation is one of the key factors for a sustainable success of the whole industry and of all participants in the market. And this is why we are happy to be able to say that the team behind Cantourage is highly experienced in the execution of different attempts when it comes to marketing and drive a whole industry. I don't want to bore you with any details, but whoever wants, I'll tell about the people behind the Cantourage in a more detailed level. But what we say is experience in the industry is mandatory to really have a deep understanding of which regulation is applicable, which regulation is the one that you have to concentrate on to be fast and compliant with all regulation for a fast accessibility. So what we also say is, as mentioned, we're active in all pathways within existing monographs. So we have these in general for cannabinoid treatment, 4 different sections, which is dried flower. And this is what I'm going to present on a more detailed way in a couple of minutes. Then the overall cannabinoid market in Germany has also a 30% size for dronabinol, which is neat THC. And we are happy that since April 2020, we are able to serve an alternative to the former monopolist Bionorica Ethics, THC Pharma, who were acquired back in 2018 by Canopy Growth. And as many, and I think you heard it a lot over yesterday and today, we are also within our R&D department in the process of developing ready-made medicine that can be used to treat certain diseases, because we also share the belief that we have to develop the existing products from contemporaneous mixtures to ready-made products where physicians have a lower entrance barrier compared to prescribing contemporaneous mixtures. And last but not least, we also focus on the extremely growing market of full spectrum extracts, where we are also happy to be able to offer a similar solution to the one that we are right now, that I'm going to introduce to you right now. So when we say that Cantourage wants to change the actual status quo, we're in an oligopoly situation with reduced offers and, let's say, with an arguable average quality of medical dried flowers, how can we change that system? And we offer the change to any cannabis producer who has a legal license to grow cannabis in the country of origin, to get in contact with us, to become our customer, and to start the cooperation with us, that we together bring cannabis products cultivated somewhere on planet globe to Germany and put and then initiate, and there are some words missing. And then we start a refinement process, which refines starting material for a drug manufacturing process to the ever actual version of the German monograph for cannabis flowers. But we did set up a platform. That means that we are not having a bi-directional relation to a customer. We are receiving his products, we refine them, and we release those varieties as Cantourage cannabis flowers. We see ourselves as a platform offering that solution to anybody who has the will and ability of entering the European cannabis market. And this is why we, when we define the finished products together with our customers have the potential of putting their influence in the corporate identity with regard to the naming of the finished products, but also with regard to the label appearance, etc., homepage, patients, leaflets, etc. Whatever is needed will be presented within the corporate identity of our customer. But what we are also offering is not only, let's say, the technical part of a refinement, because once the product is refined and released, then the other half of the work is starting, the sales and distribution of those products. And this is also where we are offering our assistance, and we are happy to conduct sales and marketing activities in whichever dimension our customer wants us to conduct, to sell as much product to as many pharmacists and wholesalers in Germany and all over Europe. And our firm belief is that if we bring more and more producers via our platform to patients and pharmacies in Germany and Europe, we have the ability of democratizing the whole approach, because we feel that actually the competition in the market is not at the level it should be. We think that offering additional varieties and having a real competition when it's about quality and pricing, that will increase the number of patients in Germany, because a lot of patients actually in Germany refuse to start a medical cannabis treatment because with the uncertainty of the takeover of reimbursement by the healthcare insurers, they just, for the case that there's no reimbursement, these patients just can't afford the needed medical treatment. And the specific situation at the Cantourage model, just to be relatively clear in wording, is that for the integration of additional customers to our platform, there is no need that any regulatory authority is coming with us to audit the facility at the country of origin where the cultivation of the cannabis plant happens, but we can do the whole process internally as a qualification of suppliers of starting material to our direct manufacturing process. And this is something where we feel we really can reach out to a couple of thousands cultivators who right now have the ability of entering the European Union and the European emerging cannabis market with a relatively reduced complexity, also within a time frame of less than half a year, and with the common ambition of completely reshaping the existing cannabis industry here in Germany. So maybe some of you heard that our very first customer from the platform, Hoffmann Life Science, its products could have been released 1.5 weeks ago and are right now already sold via pharmacies to German patients. And you see with the green dots how many companies already decided to be a part of that new cannabis involvement level and to participate on the platform to bring their starting material to our refinement center, and after the refinement center, selling the product, of course, in Germany, but as well as the whole European Union. As mentioned, Hoffmann T3H is the very first product we released via the platform. In the particular case, it's in 10-gram alloy plastic pouches. The THC potency is 22%. Please get your own impression about the terpene profile and the cultivar. And yeah, it's completely available already. And if any additional player on the platform, or if any additional cultivator wants to become a member of our platform, you're heavily invited to contact either me or my colleague Mario when it's more about the distribution of additional varieties, which will come online over the next couple of weeks and months to Germany. And this is how we see we can reshape the cannabis industry to a level where more people have better access to better quality for reduced prices. This is why we started this venture. This is why I'm happy to introduce this venture with a few words to you. And this is why we're happy to welcome additional partners on our platform. Thank you very much.
So we have quite a bit of time now until the next speaker. Maybe there's some questions we can ask Patrick. Anybody with a question? Nobody? Come on, be creative a little bit. So, Patrick, no questions? Question is how we basically bridge the time. We had just lunch. So, yeah, there is a question.
Thank you. To what standards is the cultivation expected to be grown under? So are you expecting GACP or even GMP compliance?
We are expecting. Thank you. So we are expecting a standard that is audited internally to be compliant with the Cantourage level of compliance of starting material to a drug manufacturing process. You've mentioned GACP. The GACP guidelines are one of the frameworks that we, of course, love to follow, but we are not limited to GACP. But GACP is not a standard that you can get a certification for, as it's more a framework. We added additional topics, how we can assure that the quality of the starting material will in consequence always be able to be refined to the ever actual version of the DAB monograph for cannabis flowers. You're welcome.
Somebody has a question? Nobody? So maybe I ask a question actually then. So if you can tell us a little bit more in detail, maybe you will not, but maybe you will, actually how you basically go around the fact that you need basically GMP if you want to bring the flowers into the German market. So you do the GMP steps in your facility somewhere in Germany?
Exactly. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, so exactly. We're conducting all relevant qualitative manufacturing steps in our facility here in Germany.
Okay. Maybe another question then.
Maybe, if not, you're also happy.
Somebody? Okay, then we have somebody.
Regarding this terpene profile, do you have any specification? What is maximum or any analytics?
So with regard to the terpene profile, we're happy to introduce every genetic that the cultivators offer and want to introduce to the German market. The discussion about terpene profiles is as interesting as it is also complicated, because the terpenes are for people who are familiar with the healthcare benefits of this plant. They have an other intensity of recognition compared to the, let's say, normal pharmaceutical recognition. In the normal pharmaceutical world, the terpene profile has no relevant role. It is not measured. It is only displayed, but you will never, or at least in the actual monograph for cannabis flowers, the terpene profile is not a relevant factor that should be or has to be recognized. And in the particular case of Hoffmann T3H, the purple dog bud has the terpene profile which is displayed, but actually we have 13 customers on our platform who step by step will add their varieties to the German market. So we see over the next couple of 6 to 9 months the onboarding of somewhere between 30 and 50 additional varieties, and these varieties will have completely different THC levels and terpene profiles.
Thanks. Another question maybe? Okay, we have still 10 minutes, so maybe I have to ask another question then. So basically you're saying actually that everybody can join your platform and you will basically put the product on the market under his brand. So by the end, according to the law in Germany, you are the pharmaceutical producer then. And basically you still put it with a different brand. So effectively, how to say this? You found a trick actually to, in terms of the legal point of view, how do you see it? If it's maybe nobody will chase you?
Definitely not. What we just do is we harmonize the recognition of medical cannabis to all other herbal drugs defined with own monographs in the German drugs book. There is really the specification when it comes to cannabis that there was up to date the obligation that the cultivation plus the processing of that herb must happen in the very same location. And we did feel that this is just not logical and not senseful for most of the cultivators. You have your own regulation in your country of origin that you have to follow. And then you add on the EU GMP regulation framework. That means in consequence, and I was responsible for 4 GMP certifications in Canada, happening 3 with Aurora and 1 back in the days with Peat Naturals, then you always have 2 quality handbooks, you always have 2 people flows, product flows, etc., because of course the EU GMP guidelines are often recognized also in the country of origin where the cultivation happens, but they're same, but not the very same. So you have a lot of work to be done and to follow both regulations. And what we see is that we just harmonize the whole attempt when it comes to cannabis, and we harmonize it to any other herbal drug produced somewhere on the planet globe, but be processed somewhere else and being released under EU GMP Chapter 2.
Okay. Then, if there is nobody else, I can ask again something. Hopefully, I don't chase you too much.
All good.
So basically, do you think actually the quality of product will still be recognized by your clients as good? Because some people say actually that, for example, the trimming and the drying process should basically happen in the GMP conditions and GMP facilities. So when you import the plants, it will be maybe already trimmed and dried. So what you do is basically just primary packaging and then bring it to the market.
What we do is we conduct all relevant manufacturing steps here in Germany. The 2 steps that you've mentioned are definitely considered as GMP steps. So again, the cultivation takes part in the country of origin. Then the physical appearance of the specification of the starting material has to be met. Then the product arrives within Germany, and then all relevant GMP steps are conducted in our facility here in Germany.
Okay, thanks. Last question maybe. So that means basically you have to import dried flowers, not processed, trimmed, and wet flowers, not processed and trimmed, and dried flowers. You're not afraid that you basically in the moment you cut the flower and you don't put it straight to the drying room, you start a microbiological basically process, and you're not afraid that you have microbiological contamination?
You're right. That's definitely something that we did consider. And I'm sorry that I'm not able to disclose too many details. And this is also why the presentation is relatively short, because this is exactly where you have to take a lot of attention of, let's say, the right behavior when you treat that flower, that product, but still be compliant to all regulation. We are heavily with every single piece of my body, I'm convinced that we can increase the quality of the product produced within Germany. So seen, the Hoffmann T3H is the first cannabis where we can say it's really cannabis made in Germany, because the cultivation is not a manufacturing step. All GMP steps are happening here in Germany. And I want to give you a random example. Here's many people coming from Macedonia. Actually, the GMP certification from the Macedonian Healthcare Authority is not suitable to bring the processed and filled and packed and released product to Germany. In a couple of years, when Macedonia will be a part of the European Union, the same accreditation will allow you to bring product to the European Union. Did the product increase in quality? So what we can say is the individuals, the companies, focus on the cultivation, and they will be able to cultivate way better product at a way better price level because they focus on their expertise, which is the cultivation of flowers. the processing of flowers to different industry and healthcare status shouldn't be the obligation of each individual of the more than 30,000 cultivation licenses out there on planet globe. There are specialists like Cantourage who are happy to take over that obligation and to guarantee the compliance with the mentioned DAB standard.